Hello and Happy New Year everyone, welcome to another doll customizing video with me Akin. Before we start, of course, shout out to my coffee members. Roger, Sinbilops, Ruby Rouge, Warren G, Mel, Awkward Burb, Invisible Bear, Mel Again, Hanu Made This, Star with the Emoji, and Jasmine. Thank you so much for your support. Without it, I don't think I'd be able to keep this channel going. If you're interested in contributing to this channel, consider becoming a coffee member for $6 a month to see what I'm working on before the video is out. Link is in the description. Remember when I said this in Grizzly's video? All the time and energy I put into projects like this have always been worth it, but as much as I love doing this kind of project, it takes a lot from me. So still, I'm not gonna do this kind of project that often, otherwise I'd burn out and I'm not about to hate making what I love the most. But it turned out to be body modification after body modification after body modification after body modification after body modification. So for this project, I will not do that. You will not see epoxy in this one. Anyway, some time ago, Eric, aka the Hatter Dolls, invited me to join this anime doll collaboration hosted by I Could Do That DIY. And if you know me, I'm not that big on anime, and at the time, I had another idea in mind, so I declined, initially. But I eventually scrapped the idea that I had and joined the collaboration instead. I mean, working alongside others is more fun. Even though I'm not an anime fan, I've watched some and I'm familiar with some of the characters, so I think I can do justice making one in doll form. Now, which anime character do I know whose design is pretty simple so I won't have to do any body modification or so complicated clothes? I joined this collaboration only about 3 weeks before the deadline, so I didn't have a lot of time. I chose KOGORO MOURI from Detective Conan. I watched some of the episodes when I was a kid, and by that I mean when I was in kindergarten, so I barely remember what the anime is about. I think it's about a detective that turned into a child. I remember the main character's name is Shinichi Kudo, but that's about it. Anyway, let's begin the process. For the base, I'm gonna use this G2 Dus Gorgon body. If there's one good thing about G2 Monster High, it's the boy body. I'd even say it's better than G3. This body got reproduced for the BTS dolls. For the head, I'm gonna use Heat Burnses. I think this is the third time I use Heat's head, and this project uses the same exact base I did for Emil the Gender Band Corpse Bride. The hairstyle will pretty much be the same as well, but Heat's angular facial features makes him a great choice for a Kogoro, so let's put the head in hot water for about 30 seconds before yanking it off the body. While the head is still squishy, I remove the plastic hair as well. With pure acetone soaked cotton pads, I erase the factory paint. Here I'm puncturing a bunch of holes in the scalp. Am I gonna reroot? Hell no. I really want to get that anime proportion, or at least something close to it, so I'm gonna shrink the head, and by making these holes, hopefully it'll help with the evaporation later. Obviously, you don't have to do this if your doll head had rooted hair. Put the head in a glass jar with lid and fill the glass with pure acetone. Make sure there's an ample space and the head is submerged completely before putting the lid on. Let the head marinate for 2 hours. After 2 hours, the head will expand to about twice the original size. At this stage, the head is very fragile, so handle it gently. I take the lid off, pull the head out, and squeeze out the acetone that's still inside the head before setting it aside to dry. Here's the head compared to another Monster High head. When I was squeezing out the trapped acetone, I spilled some onto my table and it ruined part of the lemonade. Let's fix it, or more like, cover it real quick. This looks ugly and distracting. I might have to buy a dash mat. After 60 hours of drying time, the head only shrank to the original size, not exactly smaller, and it's still pretty squishy. I'm not having it. So let's do another acetone soak session. This is fresh solution by the way, because the old solution has been polluted. Not gonna lie, shrinking doll heads is kinda a waste of acetone. After 2 hours, I take the head out and set it aside to dry, again. At first, I wasn't gonna do anything to the body, but it takes literally days for a shrunken head to dry completely, so I thought might as well. I start by removing the scale tattoos with a fine sanding sponge. Then with a rough sandpaper, I get rid of the molded underwear. This is good enough. I can feel a blister is forming on my thumb. Why does this keep happening to me? I roughen the entire surface of the body with fine sanding sponge and then rinse it. After the body dried, I spray it with matte top coat twice to prep the surface. Then I apply soft pastels with makeup brushes around the joints to blush the body. I also contour the muscles, just following the sculpt to define them. To set the blushing in place, I give the body another spray of the matte top coat. Then I paint on the nipples. With the thinnest brush I have and diluted black acrylic paint, I start hatching the body hair. I know this is unnecessary, but I could use the practice. Even though I've made a few hairy dolls, honestly I'm never really happy with how the body hair turned out. And I don't really know anyone else who does this on their custom dolls, so I can't reference or take notes on how to do decent body hair on dolls. If you have a tip, let me know. See, I don't like how the chest hair is turning out, so I sand it down to erase it and try again. The second attempt turned out a little better. Let's add some more hair on the front torso. Then the forearms. Don't like it? Erase it, redo it. God damn it, do I have to do everything twice? Okay, now we do the legs. I gave the body 2 layers of the matte top coat spray to seal the body hair. It still looks awkward, but he's gonna be fully clothed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Going back to the head, this is after 3 days, full 72 hours of drying time. The difference is noticeable, the shrunken head is actually smaller. Yay! The head didn't shrink all that even because one side is puffier than the other, but it's still pretty good. I glue sandpaper on a popsicle stick so I can use it more comfortably, and I'm gonna round off the pointy tips of the ears to make him a regular human. Since the head is firm now, sanding it feels a lot easier. The head shrinking caused a huge hole in the back of the head, but it'll get covered by the hair later, so it's all good. I thought of resculpting the ears because Detective Conan characters have big ears, but I promised not to use epoxy at all for this project, so I seized the idea. I also sand the chin to make it a little bit more square. Because the shrunken head is smaller, we need to enlarge the neck hole. Then I scrub the head with soapy water to hopefully clean any trace of acetone. We also have to trim the neck peg. What we actually need is just that round base. The head is now way too firm to be put back on the body. Oh no, whatever we're gonna do, should we just cancel this project? Before this, I only ever tried shrinking a doll's head once, and this was where I stopped. I thought once the head is hardened, there's nothing you can do about it. But all you have to do is dunk the head in hot water. By doing this, the shrunken head will regain some of its elasticity, making it possible to reattach it to the body like you normally do. But do it immediately because the head rehardens really fast, and careful not to distort it too much. Wait, I like this proportion a lot. Maybe I should do more head shrinking in the future. I covered the body with a plastic bag before painting the head to color match it. I was kinda worried the head wouldn't receive paint because it absorbed so much acetone before, but it can be painted just fine. 4 layers of paint look pretty solid, but let's add one more for good measure. After the paint has completely dried, we're gonna apply 3 initial layers of Mr. Super Clear UV Cut Flat, waiting 30 minutes in between layers. The surface is now nicely prepped. I start with initial blushing with soft pastels. I sprayed another layer of MSC and give the lips some color still using soft pastels. I also mapped the eyebrows. Kogoro has thin and arched eyebrows, so here I'm trying to give him that. Refine the shapes with a kneaded eraser and do the other side. Map the iconic mustache as well. With a light brown watercolor pencil, I sketch the eyes. No, I'm not doing the anime eyes, sorry. I fill in the eye whites and the irises light brown. Another spray of MSC, now we can start building up the colors and do shading to the eyes. I draw lines under the eyes to make him look older, kinda like wrinkles. I spray the face again with MSC and I start defining the eye lines and make the colors more opaque. After another layer of MSC, I use a black watercolor pencil to draw the hairs of the eyebrows and mustache. I also draw on the pupils and darken the top eye lines. I gave it another layer of MSC and I draw on some crow's feet. I keep building up the colors, especially the lighter ones like the eye whites and bottom parts of the irises. Now we can dot on the eye shines before sealing the new face with one less generous layer of MSC. We're done with the face up after 9 layers of MSC. I really like the face up. I think he actually looks Japanese. Before we get into the hair, I'm gonna glue a piece of black fabric to cover the hole in the back of the head. I already made some black yarn wefts and I start gluing them from the back, working my way up. This is gonna be a short hairstyle, so I trim it as I go. Then the hair on the sides. I glue a small weft in the front like this. This will be a tuft of hair that sticks out. Glue wefts that flush with the front hairline. This will get flipped back to get that slick back hairstyle. Glue more wefts to cover the rest of the scalp. Let's do some fine tuning. With a wet toothbrush, I tame the hair. After the hair dried, I flatten it even further with a heated flat metal tool. And with a heated metal chopstick, I curl in the hair that sticks out. Give it a trim and fine tuning. Let's make the hairstyle permanent by brushing on watered down glue to the ends of the hair and wait for it to dry. You can clearly see the size difference now. I'm really glad how it's turning out. Moving on to the outfit, first we're gonna make the shirt out of white cotton fabric. Here's the pattern and I'm gonna sew the shoulder seams together. Then we sew the sleeves. I added cuffs for extra details and let's put this aside for now. Here's the collar piece. I'm gonna cut notches around the outer edge and glue down the seam allowance to the wrong side of the fabric. I gave it a top stitch with paper underneath as stabilizer and we can get rid of the paper now. Then attach the collar to the neckline, good side on top of good side. It should look something like this, so when you fold it down halfway, it looks like an actual collar. Now I fold over the opening tabs to the right side like this, sandwiching the collar and stitch it down. When you turn it right side out, everything should be pretty nice. I continue by gluing down the collar seam allowance before top stitching one opening tab around the neckline all the way to the other opening tab. It should look something like this. Now all we have to do is sew the side seams together and hem the bottom part. Then I trim the excess fabric and turn it right side out and we finish the shirt. It turned out kinda too short, but he'll be wearing pants and jacket, so this shouldn't be a problem. I kinda have an issue making the suit because what the fuck is this color? Is it blue? Is it purple? Is it gray? What is this color? You know, I buy my fabrics online, so I ended up ordering a bunch hoping one would actually match, but nope. Let alone matches, none is even close to the color. These are all the same material, just in different colors, and they costed $1 for half a meter each, so it's not that bad, I guess. I don't want to buy any more fabric, so I'm just gonna use one of this and I picked the dark blue. Here's the pattern. Start by sewing the front crotch together. I also added the fake fly details, then I sewed the pocket linings. Fold over the pocket linings to the inside and sew the side fronts to them to complete the pockets. I stay stitched the pockets on the top and sides like this, and as you can see, the pockets are real. Now we can sew the back pieces. Then we sew the waistband. Sew up the back seams about halfway through. Make sure it'll still fit the doll's waist. I already finished the opening tabs and hemmed the leg holes as well. Now we can sew the inner legs together. Turn the pants right side out and let's try them on. They look pretty good. Moving on to the jacket, here's the pattern and let's sew the shoulder seams together to join the back piece and the front pieces. Then we attach the sleeves and hem the armholes as well. It should look something like this. Let's put this aside for a bit. Grab the lapel piece, lay it on top of another layer of fabric and sew along the outer edge. I trim the excess fabric and cut the corners and notches. When I turned the lapel right side out, it busted through the other side. Turned out this fabric is pretty weak. So I cut a new lapel piece and glue down the outer edges and do a top stitch instead. Then I base stitched the lapel to the jacket. Sew the side seams. Turn it right side out and put it aside cause we're gonna do the lining. The lining is pretty much the same as the outer bodies, but the back piece is split into two and we're gonna sew them together but leave a gap. See this hole in the middle? We need that. Now we sew the front pieces on the shoulder and side seams. Insert the lining to the outer, right sides facing each other. Make sure the lapel is sandwiched between them and sew all around the edges. Trim the excess seam allowance and turn the whole thing right side out through the hole of the back lining. The jacket turned out too short and the lapel should be lower. So I readjusted the patterns and redid the whole thing, and instead of doing lining, I'm just gonna simply hem all the edges. Now the jacket fits and looks just right. The tie is just a long strip of brown fabric with all the edges top stitched, and it works just like a real tie. I also make socks out of some black sheer material. After washing the clothes, I can attach the snaps. Since the jacket doesn't have lining, I sew the snaps only on the seam allowance so no stitching is shown on the outside. For the shoes, these are Ken shoes, but if I force them, they can fit the doll. They're black, but not the right kind of black. Oh wow! So I'm still gonna give them 2 layers of black acrylic paint. Then I apply 3 layers of watered down gloss varnish. Shiny! And with that, we can call it a doll. My collaboration partners are Stefu Doll, Kira's Workshop, our host I Could Do That DIY, The Hatter Dolls, me, The Dolly Geek, Valkyrie's World, and Rock Puppet Switchy Pink. If you happen to watch my video first, please watch all the others too because look at them, they're all amazing and deserve your attention. So what do you think of my take on KOGORO MOURI? I think I did him justice. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I do body modifications so often, I can't help but feel like something is missing with this one even though there isn't. The doll turned out pretty great if I say so myself. I finished him only in about 2 weeks, didn't take that long. My favorite part is probably the face up, I really like it for some reason. The outfit is pretty great too, especially the pants, they fit really well. The hair could probably be more crisp, but it's okay. I kinda regret not resculpting the ears, but again, no epoxy for this one. All in all, I think this project is well done. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to. See you in the next one. Bye!